Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Her Talk Show. My name is Sabrina Victoria. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to be talking all about embracing motherhood, despite all that chaos and all of the goodness that comes with that. Super, super excited. So, you ladies that are joining us live, joining us on the replay, get comfortable as we explore all the triumphs and the challenges faced by women worldwide. We're going to be offering some insights, some inspiration to fuel your growth. Let's jump right in.
Get ready, because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
All righty. Thank you so much for being here. We're here every day delving deep into the realms of health, wealth, and leadership with some of the most brilliant women globally. We've interviewed over 600 women, and today we are adding another one to the list. We have Sue Ellen Sweeney, working in the areas of psychiatric, mental health, community, and family nursing in many settings. Sue Ellen has come to be convicted that we can do better in helping people live healthy, whole, meaningful lives. As a lifelong learner, she has training in NVC, EFT, mindfulness, grief recovery, and mind in the making. And she is always adding to her toolbox. She was trained as a Dreambuilder coach and life mastery consultant through the Brave Thinking Institute. As a transformational life and family coach, she has been integrating strengths-based holistic principles, say that 10 times fast, in support of individuals and families for 6 years. Welcome, lady.
Thank you, Sabrina. I really appreciate being here and having this opportunity. Yes, to support women and mothers. Yes.
Yeah, no, totally get that.
Together, yeah.
So before we kind of dive in here, I want to talk about this tongue twister here. Integrating strengths-based holistic principles.
Okay.
What is this regarding motherhood? Strength-based holistic principles.
All right. We'll take the strengths-based first.
Okay.
We're really conditioned and into remembering our weaknesses, right? And all the things we have to fix. So I really love to help people come from their strengths. This is a sharp contrast from being in the medical psychiatric world, where there's a diagnosis for every person. And I, as a psychiatric mental health nurse, would very, very often talk to people about, you are not your diagnosis. And then explain, what diagnoses are for and how they do help the medical system. And I think it's way too dangerous to put ourselves in any sort of a box. And I think it's so much more empowering to help people understand their gifts and their strengths. Does that all make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. And the holistic perspective is something that's really near and dear to me, in that I believe we have a spiritual side to us. We have a physical side to us. We have a social aspect of our lives. We have a personality. We have, all these things that come together and work together. The body, obviously, as well. That all come to work together. And we can't really work on one without affecting the other. They all work together.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's great. All right. That totally makes sense.
Okay.
So when we're talking about motherhood, we can take this in so many different directions.
Right.
The one thing that's kind of coming to me here is, we jump into motherhood. Now, I only have one child. However, majority of people have more than one child. How does it work? How do we navigate when we feel like we're doing the same as a mother and our children react differently to our discipline, to the way that our humor is, to the way that we ask for things to get done. I think a lot of times the chaos comes from multiple kids, multiple personalities.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good and interesting question. And I actually had 6 children. Actually, they're photos are on the wall behind me. So I can tell you for sure that they're going to respond to you differently because they're different. They're completely different. They're their own unique human beings.
Yeah.
And I see that could be a challenge. You could see it as a challenge, or you can see it as an opportunity. And that's always a choice. So that's something I work with my clients. And I'm now doing a coaching called positive intelligence coaching that helps us sort out our responses to situations and circumstances and people in our lives. And it's important to realize that every situation and circumstance and interaction is going to be different. Does that answer your question? I could keep going.
Yeah, it's going to be different. And how do we handle that? So as a mother and the chaos that kind of comes along with that, like I'm thinking of myself when I grew up and the unfairness that a lot of times would come. Like discipline with my sister and I, we're 2.5 years apart. All my mom ever had to do was just look at me and I would just start crying. She just had to look at me.
Yeah.
My sister, on the other hand, was like a total badass when she was growing up. And she didn't give a crap about anything. So my mom would have to do like extra stuff, like to scold her, to discipline her. She had to be in the corner. She had to like go to her room. She had to do like extra chores. There was like extra things that she would have to do because my sister was way more hard-headed than I was. And that created a lot of animosity with my sister and her being like, you never discipline Sabrina like this. You always discipline me like this. But it was the way in which our personalities were just so different. In that aspect, causes a lot of chaos, causes a lot of hurt feelings.
It does. And those carry through with you, right? They form you. And then you have these patterns of being in the world that are imprinted in your brain. So you react that way to people at work, the way you did to your mother or your sister. So it's really common. What you're describing is a really common, normal human dynamic in what happens. And that's why I'm so excited about working with parents, because I believe that we have so much power to change those dynamics. How do we respond differently to different children is to get curious. To not assume that it's just a strategy that you can do or like a recipe. If I do this and that, then this is the outcome I'm going to get. Because human beings are not like that.
Ooh.
They're very unpredictable, very unique, and in the moment. So I believe that the most important thing that mothers can do is their own personal growth work. So you can't, and all the way through, psych, mental health, nursing, I've really come to believe and emphasize that we can't change anybody else but yourself. It's the same with raising children or being in a relationship with a partner. It's so important to look at yourself and what's happening inside you in that situation and circumstance and manage your own responses. Where do I want to come? Do I want to come to this situation and interaction, with love and patience and understanding and curiosity? Or is my normal reaction something completely different from that? And how is that working out? Right? I learned very early that spanking doesn't work. Back in the day, it was sort of still an option when I was raising my older children. I mean, in certain, thought crowds, but
I spanked my son. I spanked my son until he was probably like 1.5.
Right. And I think it's really easy to get into the mode of believing we need to control our children.
Yeah.
And a lot of these parenting strategies come from that underlying beliefs. That's why it's important to really get to the root of who are you as a person and a parent, and who do you want to be as a mother?
Yeah.
Who do you want to be?
I still remember. Go ahead.
The world is really chaotic and stressful, and it's stressful for children as well. And the home is the safe place. That's the refuge for children. It's also where they tend to act out if they've been stressed out all day. So being that safe place to land for your children is really, really important. Creating a safe environment where your children feel like they can be themselves, they can learn about themselves, and have someone to work that out with is really, really important for their mental health and well-being.
Yeah. I still remember when I stopped spanking my son, I would never, like, nothing crazy. I would just like smack him on the thigh or something. You know what I mean? I wasn't one of those people that like pull down the diaper and just like smacking him. So it was just like a smack on the arm or like a little hit on the thigh or something like that. And there was one day we were on the floor playing Legos, and I like went like this, just kind of quickly to like grab a Lego far away. And just the reaction of however my hand went, my son flinched, like went like that. He thought I was going to hit him. I literally welled up with tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, I never hit him ever again. But yeah, to your point, there are, different ways and means of generations, have changed. Some as far as that goes, and being able to keep our children in line. I totally get that. I really like what you're saying as far as our personal growth. I think a lot of times parents miss that. I know my parents miss that. I know I missed that in the beginning stages of my son being around. Why is our parenting tied so closely to our personal development versus your kids are just acting awry?
Yeah. Because children learn what they live. They don't do what they're told. They don't do what, you want them to do. Typically they learn to respond and react and have emotional responses from their parents, and they're imitators. They're little imitators. They're little chameleons. I remember when my first daughter was born, and I learned this like right away, because the days they feel your energy, they respond to your energy, and they mirror your energy. The days when I was stressed, upset, cranky, she cried a whole lot more. And I was like, how can this just is not fair. I would love to just snuggle with her and have her smile at me, and I'd feel better. Right? It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work that way. And I've worked with way too many parents who even have children to complete their lives or help them really feel more positive about themselves. And it doesn't work that way either. It really takes, and to turn that into a really more positive framework, I see this mirroring as an opportunity for mothers, for fathers, to see themselves in their children, to notice their responses and their reactions, and then ask themselves, is this who I am? Is this, what in this am I invited to learn about myself to be a better person?
So you're saying almost viewing your kids as a reflection and seeing the similarities?
Right. And seeing in your interactions with your children your own responses as an opportunity to grow. For example, so maybe an episode where you lose your temper, like, we all do. And then to ask yourself, where is that coming from? Is it simply this milk on the floor, right? Or what else is going on in my life or inside of me that's triggering such a out of control reaction? What do I need? What am I feeling? Is it something in my subconscious? I mean, you can go really deep, right? Is it something in my subconscious in how my mother, my father, my teacher, my neighbor, somehow hurt me? Why am I responding this way? So it's an opportunity. And I'm a personal growth advocate. I believe that our journey in life is about that. If we're not growing, we're not living.
Yeah. I like this. So staying curious, working on your own personal growth, seeing the mirror or the reflection of yourself in your children. What about this concept that I know that you speak on a lot regarding letting go?
Letting go. Oh, wow. Is that a lifelong learning process, right? We all have beliefs that are really strong inside of us. I'll give you an example of a letting go for me that's really hard, has been hard. I loved parenting, loved it. It's been challenging. They all challenged me at different ages. I found the transition to adulthood being the most challenging phase for me, involving so much letting go. I don't know. Letting go of my need to have them communicate with me, right? Letting go of my need to meet their needs, because our roles become entangled and entwined with them, and it changes. So at each stage, there's a letting go. When they're really little, we're meeting all their needs. And then as they move into, school age and teenage years, there's a letting go of those old roles and expectations that we had with children at different ages and stages. Did you follow me?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just thinking of just the basics, like changing diapers, feeding to not, right? The transition even from 0 to 5 years, and then from 5 years to 10 years, and then 10 to 15. Yeah, there's huge gaps where they're evolving and needing you less and less.
Yeah. So even as a mother, we are stressed and overwhelmed with all these things. We're also getting some satisfaction in it. And as we grow, as they grow, there's a lot of questions to ask ourselves.
Yeah, there's that whole sense of like being needed.
Really big, really big. There's a couple of concepts that I've become really aware of in motherhood. Being needed. And another one is sacrifice. The concept of self-sacrifice. What does that mean? Of course you're going to sacrifice if you're getting up in the middle of the night and you're changing diapers and you don't have, full control of your body anymore. They're, on your, pulling at your body. You might be breastfeeding, or the body's image has changed from the birth process. So there's a lot of letting go. And I believe, with emotions, they're all important. There's some that, they're all teaching us something. There's sadness in letting go. There's relief in letting go. There's grief in letting go. And a lot of stress in the change, in managing the change. So it's really important to pay attention. Just to pay attention to what you're feeling and how you're responding to that change, that transition, so that you can be more conscious and intentional in how you're living your life, in how you're creating those relationships.
Yeah. One of the things that I've just recently started to do, my son is 20, is, first of all, I totally know what you're saying as far as when they don't need you as much, it gets wonky. And I get so excited when he needs me, I don't even know what something would be. I can't even give it an example, but every once in a while, he's like, Mom, can you help me with this? And I'm just so excited. I'm just like, oh my gosh, yes, I will help you. What do you need help with? I'm so happy. But one of the things that I've really been leaning into probably over the last year is asking for help. And it's been so interesting seeing the dynamic change and seeing his willingness to help, which has been really cool. Nothing big, but literally saying, can you help me with this? I need your help. And I don't want to say independence, but the confidence that I can kind of feel of yeah, I can help you. I can help you. I have something and I can give that to you. I can help you with this. Yeah. It's like another level of mothering, but the other way around. Interesting.
That's such a beautiful story and an example of relationship in transition. You're always co-creating relationship. And there's shifting going on. So what I love hearing you say is that you notice this. You weren't used to doing it. You weren't used to asking him for help, right? And you notice that in his life and his level of awareness and development and relating, he was ready for that. He was wanting to that. He was wanting for that. And it enhanced your relationship. So that's really what I like to help people see is just increasing their awareness so that they can be present in the moment and see these shifts in a positive light.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I love this. I love all of these nuggets of information. I think that even just I think what I'm really appreciating about this conversation is the ease of which I think so often we make the chaos and there being an ability to be able to alter, change, refocus, make it lighter seems so far-fetched. There's no way I could ever, this is just how motherhood is. And just a few things that you've shared here, they're so simplistic, yet you can clearly see the change that could start to occur just by implementing almost mindset.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
I'm
so it's not
excited.
Smack your kid around or put it in the corner. It's all very much mindset, things that could be done mentally, emotionally. So I love that.
Yeah. You have more control isn't the word I want to say. Control over yourself is what you need to focus on. And being clear, having clarity on what is your vision of motherhood? What is your vision of a family? And what is it that you would love to create? And our culture is so focused on the externals, so focused. The nursery, the pictures, the oh my goodness, the the stuff they have for babies. It's about the stuff and getting the right stuff and creating ease and flow from an external perspective, which I think is wonderful. Some of it is, I wish I had that, right? Yet you can create ease and flow simply by your mindset. Mm. And that's, one of my coaching programs is about mindset and integrating mindfulness principles that help you to be more present in a way that you're choosing.
Gorgeous. Speaking of your programs, we have a ton of people watching live, by the way. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. Also, for those of you that are watching on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love in the comments. But Sue Ellen, I would love for you to kind of just touch, obviously we're getting a really good idea of what you do, but, as far as what you do and what you teach, preach, who should be reaching out to you? Who is your ideal client? Who do you work with?
I honestly have worked with people in all ages and stages of life, and I'm really passionate about helping parents be proactive in their children's lives. I've been a psychiatric nurse in an inpatient setting with children, and I just get really distressed about medicating children for behavioral issues that I know are created by dynamics in the home. And I could go on about that. Who could work with me? Any parent who is really interested in being the best person they can be and living with more ease and joy in their lives, moving from overwhelm to regaining their freedom of choice and building stronger, more connected, loving relationships in their family.
Beautiful. And then where can people find you on social media? Where do you hang out where people can follow you?
I have been hanging out on LinkedIn. I've really been enjoying that platform and posting more. I also have an Instagram page and a Facebook.
Always page. Sue Ellen Sweeney, or is it under anything else?
It is, I think it's called Soar with Heart. It was interesting. I listened to one of your talks recently. You said about how often you change these names and you might, so I think it's Soar with Heart. But if you Google Sue Ellen Sweeney, it will come up.
Okay.
As well. Good. So Instagram, and then it also goes to my Facebook page. So you'll see beautiful pictures of my grandchildren and all those fun things too.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, this has been absolutely lovely. For those of you listening live or on the replay, and you're resonating with Sue Ellen and all the goodness that she is talking about today, she predominantly hangs out on LinkedIn under Sue Ellen Sweeney. You can also find her on Instagram and Facebook. Her link to her website is in the description below wherever you are watching us at. So just scroll down. It's actually a clickable link that you can get taken right to her website right now if you'd like.
All right.
Sue Ellen, so appreciate you being here, sharing some amazing golden nuggets of information. Any closing thoughts as we kind of wrap up here?
I really like to talk about empowerment and choice and how I want anybody that's listening to know that you have the power within you to create that life that you would love living. And I'd love to have you understand that you are creating that all the time. You can create it unconsciously just by patterns, because we learned this in our childhood or wherever we learned, or you can create it consciously and intentionally by giving it some time and energy to really consider what it is that you want to to create in your life. So I'd love to help you do that.
Fabulous. Well, this has been absolutely great. I do want to ask, as far as we're kind of wrapping up, as far as ages go, is it all ages, newborn to adult, or is it 5 or 15? What is the
As far
age?
as parenting, you mean
Yeah.
as far as parenting coaching? I'm reaching out to new parents because I believe it's such a powerful transition stage.
Okay.
And it's not always the stage where you might be looking for some support or realizing that some support is important. Or you
Okay.
might be so sleep deprived that it's not even possible. So yeah, I work with new parents and parents of any age children, really.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, because I'm thinking of just the chaos with a small child, but when you think of like a small child, like how do you pivot around a child who's just crying? But you're working predominantly with mindset, personal development. So that's why I just kind of wanted to clarify, like women who
And
are
it's
feeling,
really essential when they're newborns.
yeah, exactly. So
I would
parents who are
really
feeling,
love, I
who
would
are
really
newer,
love
who are
to
feeling that
encourage.
chaos, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
your kid is like a baby. Still, this is something that would be amazing for you to step into, especially at such a young age, because then you'll have all of those tools in your tool belt as they're growing up and as they're starting
Yeah.
to mirror you and become a reflection of you, all the little keywords that we learned today. So that's great. I love that. Good
Yes,
clarification.
well, thank you. This has really been fun. I've enjoyed it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course, of course. Well, thank you so much. For those of you listening live, thank you. For those of you listening on the replay, make sure that you hashtag replay so we can send you some love in the comments. This has been fabulous, Sue Ellen. I so appreciate you being here, hanging out with us, sharing your wisdom, inspiring us all.
Oh, thank you.
To our
You
dedicated,
inspire so many as well. So I love that you're working with women and empowering women. We're in the same work.
I love it. To our dedicated,
On Labor Day, we're talking about work.
yes, I've been working all day today. To our dedicated listeners, thank you for staying with us until the very end. Remember to follow, like, and share. Once again, I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation, where we continue to uplift each other every step of the way by having conversations just like this one. Again, also in a clickable link in the description below. Until next time.